Hi, my name is Boris, and in today's video I'm going to show you the top 7 secret features of Ableton Live 12. The new version of Ableton comes with a few hidden functions, and I also want to show you a few tricks that work with older versions. Before we get into the video, if you like what we are doing on this channel, make sure to subscribe. We've got more videos about Ableton coming up. And if you'd like to learn Live 12 with all the foundations of music production, check out our Beginner to Advanced Live 12 Start to Finish course. Alright, so let's just get started. Okay, so secret number 1 in Live 12 is going to be adding nested tags. We've got this awesome filters section in Live 12, but we can also label our own sounds. For instance, we can label the snare. All you need to do is just click on edit right here, and you can, for example, assign it into drums, and now you will be able to find it in the snare section in the filters tab. But if we want to add our own tag, we can go to add group, do something called secret drums, and we can add a subsection called snares. But to do that more quickly, we can just go to add group, for example, secret drums. And to add a sub tag, you need to add the separator sign, and we can type in, for example, snare. Maybe we can also add another separator. This is an acoustic snare. And now we've created a new tag, and we can just assign our snare into this section. If we now go into the secret drums 2 folder, you can see it's in the snare and acoustic section of this filter. That's a very fast way of creating nested tags. Now, staying with our browser section, secret number 2 is going to be saving our searches for easier access. So, for instance, you often search for a bass sound and you don't want to type bass every time you search for it. All you need to do is just click this plus button here and it appears right in the library. You can do the same, for example, for snare. Now you have these searches here for very easy access. Incredibly simple tip, but can really speed up your browsing process. Also, another really cool tip from the browser section is searching for your tags with the hashtag sign. All you need to do is just insert the hashtag and we can start typing, for example, drums, and there we go. If you're slightly lost in this filters section, which already gets pretty huge with the built-in Ableton library, you can just search for example, acoustic, boom, and you have acoustic sounds right here. Really simple, but also effective. Okay, now let's take a look at the mixer, and I'm going to take a very simple sound. Maybe let's take some kind of loop. We can use our search function. Okay, so let's take this stereo shaker loop. It's nice and wide, and I want to show you a secret panning function. What we have here is this panner, which works pretty nice. And here you can change the balance between the left and right signal. For example, now we're in the middle, but if we go all the way to the left, we are only going to hear the left channel. And if we go to the right, it's only the right channel. We are clipping just very slightly. Let's do an experiment. What happens if we take a utility and we make this sample only the left channel? Let's now test what happens. Okay, so in the middle we have just the left channel. If we go all the way to the left, it's still there, of course, but what happens if we go all the way to the right now with this panner? We have no sound. That means that this just gives us a balance between the left and the right channel. It doesn't really take the left channel and put it into the right speaker. Okay, but we have this cool secret function. If we right click on this panner, we can go into select split stereo pan mode. If we click on it, we have two separate sliders for the left and right channel. Once again, we can test it out. Here's the option by default. You can take the left channel, pan it to the right, and maybe take the right channel, pan it to the left. Okay, but what happens if we have only a signal that is on the left? Right, and for example, we want to take the left signal and put it on the right headphone. Now we are able to take each signal and decide precisely where it lies, instead of just having a balancer knob by default. Now we have a bit more control over our stereo image. So you can take some of the right signal and put it in the left ear, or do the reverse, or make it mono, because if we go to 0 on both, we take both channels and we basically sum it up to mono. This is really nice. I really recommend you to mess around with it. So the split pan feature, really nice for stereo field manipulation. Now let's maybe take our clip and make it a loop, and we can extend it, and maybe we can also take a utility. For instance, let's say we are working in the arrangement, don't want to go into the automations tab manually, and we just want to add a very simple automation. If you have the keyboard keys deselected, so you're not playing MIDI with your computer keyboard, if that's off, you can simply press A to access Momentary Automation. We can write something, and when I stop pressing A, boom, we go back into the arrangement. And this is really nice for quick automation adjustments, instead of having to go in and out of automation mode every time. And the A key actually can do two things. If you hold it, it will go back into no automation when you stop pressing it, but when you just tap it and let go of it immediately, we just go into automation mode once again, and we're out of it. So A is a really nice workflow tip. It can really speed up the automations process, and you don't have to search for this button ever again, pretty much. So Momentary Automation, a really nice feature for speeding up automations. Now let's maybe take a couple samples. Let's go into a MIDI track. Let's take an acoustic kick, group it into a drum rack. Let's take a snare, and let's also take a clap. Okay, so we have 3 different samples here. If our simplers are all in the same mode, so we're choosing classic mode for all of these sounds, you can now adjust all parameters of all sounds from a single device. And for example, let's say we want to roll off the highs and maybe also introduce distortion mode on the filter and increase the drive. Let's check how the kick sounds. Much beefier now. Let's also assign the exact same parameters to the snare and the perk. Let's right click on the filter. The filter is off on both of these sounds, so you can right click on the filter switch and go to copy value to siblings. And now it's turned on. We can also adjust the distortion mode. Now it's assigned here. We can assign the same frequency and the same drive value. So now, as you can see, it's all the same. We can adjust it, of course. And that's a really nice way of creating your drum kits much faster. Copy value to siblings is incredibly useful. Now let's take an audio track. For example, if you find yourself searching for the same audio effects every time you make a new track, you can quickly speed this up as well. For instance, let's take a utility. To me, it's the most often used effect, simple gain panning and stereo width knob. If you want to load it up by default on an audio track, you just right click on it now and select Save as Default Audio Track. Now, if we add a new audio track, it's going to appear already with this effect. We can even fold it and maybe turn it off by default, save it once again, override it, and if we make a new audio track, boom, it appears as folded and turned off. You can do the same thing for a MIDI track. It's a really quick way of turning some effects on in order to make very quick changes if you find yourself doing the same thing over and over again. Alright, I hope you will find these secret features useful. For me, especially the browser functions and Momentary Automation are really great features. Make sure to check out our Music Production Academy with start to finish courses on making tracks in various genres, as well as the Beginner to Advanced Live 12 Start to Finish course, which gives you all the knowledge you need to get started with music production. All links you will find in the video description. Make sure to subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell. If you enjoyed this video, leave us a like, write us a comment, and I will see you in the next ones.